All right, check, check, check. We good? We good? We good? Think we're good now. So, like I was saying, what's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Chargers fans, Cowboys fans, stand up. Y'all still can't hear me? What? It's not, bro. Y'all can. They're not. So y'all can't hear me, but y'all can hear. We're good. They said we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. I got it. Technical difficulties is what we do on the CFO channel, man. But yo, Cowboys fam, it's Victory Monday. Like I said, real Cowboys fans, stand up. You know, go ahead, comment, like, subscribe somewhere down there, somewhere down there, somewhere down there. Also, why I get? I see. That's what happens. We get conflicted messages. Like I can't hear me. Can hear me. I can hear myself. Can y'all hear me? We good. We good. No sound. We can hear you. We're good. Everyone's saying we're good. All right, we're good. So we're gonna rock, man. So yo, I got a real special guest, man. This guy has been killing it on the YouTube channel. He's been around for quite some time, man. He's one of the OGs of this YouTube Dallas Cowboys content. So I had to bring my guy Mike on. So CFO fam, let's give a warm welcome to my guy Mike from the Cowboys Corner. What's going on, bro?
Hey, everybody. Hey, it feels good to be in another place besides, the lovely Frisco Report we shoot on Tuesdays and just on my channel. It's good interacting with Cowboy fans. Like you said, I've been on the platform for a while, 8 years. The day DeMarcus Ware was released, I've been making YouTube videos then, and I did it to meet Cowboy fans like Jay Tuck.
Right.
And Jay Tuck, you've been killing the game. I appreciate what the content you bring to fellow Cowboy fans. It's just amazing how you just took the opportunity, exploded with it. You're doing fantastic.
Appreciate it, man. Likewise, likewise. So let's go back. Let's go back to that very first video because I'm always interested when I talk to content creators what made them start. So you said that your very first video was about DeMarcus Ware being released. How was you feeling at that moment? What was that very first video like?
I lived in Colorado at the time. I'm from Texas. I lived in Wichita Falls, Texas for 23 years.
Okay.
And I moved to Colorado. I was in corrections. And I got the news that Ware was released. And I had nobody to talk to because there's a lot of Bronco fans in that area. Obviously, it's Colorado, right? So there wasn't many people to talk to. So I talked to my wife. She said, make a video about it. Everyone's making YouTube videos. Make a video about it.
Right.
I was like, all right. So DeMarcus Ware was released was the first video. Pretty awkward. I was pretty sad. It's just crazy how fast 8 years go.
Right.
And my oldest daughter, she's 8, so it was right around the time she was born. So it's just incredible how fast time flies. But definitely was sad. John Shango. Many of y'all know him as Shango. I still know him as John Shango. Got to meet him at multiple training camps. Hell of a dude, stand-up guy. He was the reason why I make YouTube videos all day long.
That's good to hear, man. Like I said, there's always these little things that inspire us to get to this point, man. And it's kind of always fun to go back and watch your growth because my very first video, I watched it and I was like, bro, what were you talking about? But here we are, man. So here we are. But for the people who are seeing you for the first time, Mike, go ahead and tell them where they can find you at. Yeah,
right here on YouTube _Cowboys or Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube _Cowboys Corner on Twitter, guys. Pretty active on Twitter. During the season, I'm active on YouTube. During the off season, I'm not active at all, if I'm being honest with you. And then obviously the Frisco Report, you can find that at thefriscoreport.com with cowboysblog.net. We're on all podcasts, Spotify, Apple iTunes, stuff like that. So the Frisco Report, check those out too. Every Tuesday at 7 we drop it.
Definitely check my guy out, man. He brings that fire, especially on Twitter, man. He's been clapping. I saw you clapping at some Eagles fans the other day. I was like, that's my guy, man. Before we start, though, what's up to everybody in the chat? I got Roberto in the house. I got Top Flight in the house. Brian Bradford, what's going on? BJ Nix, Professor O in the house. My guy Shane in the house. Matt Flores in the house. Let's see here. We got the whole groups in here, man. My guy Mars in the house. So keep those questions coming, man. But, Mike, we got to talk about it, man. The Cowboys got their first victory of the 2021 season yesterday, beating the LA Chargers in a close, ugly game. It was ugly, but we got the job done, man. So how are you feeling about yesterday's game, where we currently stand on Victory Monday?
As a whole, I feel good. It's a win, right? But it's almost like a cake. The outside might look beautiful, but when you start dissecting that cake and you get into that cake, you're like, ugh, maybe I didn't like pineapple upside down cake, right? That's how this Cowboy win is. It looks beautiful on the outside because it's a big W,
Right.
right? You get in there, and there's a lot of ups and downs, just like a W, right?
Okay.
And I just wasn't a big fan. I just wasn't. The way we won, we Chargers left 17 points on the field, Jay Tuck.
Right.
They did. They had 2 touchdowns called back, and they botched a field goal, right? That's 17 points right there. If they didn't have an illegal shift and some penalties, it was an ugly game by both teams. Mm-hmm. But we should have lost that game. We should have lost. You can't score 14 points. Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Keep going. We'll dive into that later. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we score 14 points, right? Touchdown, interception, touchdown first quarter. 3 quarters in a row, nothing, right? I mean, you had your running game. You had things moving, again, penalties. Mm-hmm. I think Kellen Moore was on strong, and I think Jason Garrett called Kellen Moore and said, "What are you doing? It's not what we do. Go back to the old habits." Started getting too cute, and this is what Kellen Moore does. I know Matt Owen, we were on your podcast yesterday. He's in here. We were talking back and forth about Kellen Moore. I'm just not a big fan of Kellen Moore.
Right.
And period, point blank. I thought the offense got stale. The defense, their bend don't break, right? So I really don't know where this Cowboy team's at being 1-1. I really don't, Jay Tuck.
Ooh, all right. Well, looks like we got a lot to digest tonight, man. But I'm the complete opposite. I actually like what I saw yesterday from the Dallas Cowboys on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. I'll start with offense. I think that's what a lot of people want to look at. Now, granted, was it as thrilling and as exciting as we saw versus Tampa Bay? Absolutely not. But we saw this offense in full capacity. And what I mean by full capacity is we know that Dak Prescott could air it out 50 plus times if need be. But what we really didn't know coming into this game is, can we still utilize and be effective in the run game? And the thing that I've been pounding the table so hard for last year to the year prior is, how do we include Tony Pollard a lot more in this offense? And so we saw it. We saw him on the same field at the same time as Ezekiel Elliott. We saw him shift in motion, playing wide receiver and running back. So he was utilized a lot differently. And also, we saw the impact of Ezekiel Elliott. So we saw a little bit of all the pieces with their offense. So what I'm really looking for next step versus Philly is putting the pieces of the puzzle together. But Kellen Moore even said that today in his press conference, like, we're going to take what the defense gives us. And so if they're going to be playing the pass more heavily, then we're going to run it down their throats and vice versa. So personally, I like the play calling. I think I personally like the play calling a lot more than what I saw versus Tampa because it's too one-sided. So I'm still optimistic about the offense. And I'm a Kellen Moore fan. So I know you, Professor O, were going off about that. But I am a Professor O fan too, but I am a Kellen Moore fan as well because I like what he brings to this team. It's just going to be, him moving forward, especially in the red zone where we kind of had those lapses. So offensively, I'm okay. Defensively, I don't want to say I'm okay, but I'm right where I thought I would be. Because you got to think about this, bro. If this was last year, we would have got dog walked. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Is like, even with the defense, with having Randy Gregory out, having DeMarcus Lawrence out, having Donovan Wilson out, putting Micah Parsons in a brand new position, they showed a lot of upside and a lot of fight. And them just holding the Chargers to 17 points, that's a win no matter how it was done, right? Because that typically, it doesn't happen in Dallas. We traditionally don't win games unless we're scoring 30-plus points. And so to see the defense hold this Chargers team to only 17 points, getting turnovers in optical situations, it was rewarding for me. And I feel like once we start to add some of these players back, it's going to be up and up from here. But I'll let you go and get your piece in, Mike.
No, I mean, you make great points about Tony Pollard and Zeke, and it is about time Tony Pollard gets a piece of this offense. But it's just 2 games. We know how this – we seen Tony Pollard early last year before Dak got hurt, and then Tony Pollard disappeared, right? We've seen, okay, they're finally getting us they want, and then they take it away.
Right.
Right? It's 2 weeks of football. Cowboys are 1-1. Mm-hmm. And Cowboys fans, we get so desperate for wins and tweets and Facebook and wallpapers and merchandise and tickets and jerseys. But there's big problems. There's 26 years of big problems in this franchise.
Right.
And take a win, absolutely. But how consistent can this offense be with Kellen Moore being a play caller? We could talk about the Vikings game. We could talk about the New England game. I mean, there's a lot of games that I can refer to where Kellen Moore has been stale. Flashy plays are great. Eagles had one against the 49ers, 91 yards.
Right.
The best play in the whole world since 2010 when they played Michael Vick hit Deshaun Jackson, right? That resulted in 0 touchdowns. That resulted in 0 points. You can have the yards. You can have the stats, but that don't win you football games, J-Tuck. Points do. And when you score 6 points in 3 quarters against Aaron Rodgers, that's not winning you football, right?
Well,
against Tom Brady, that's not going to win you football.
If your defense is holding an opponent to 17 points. And so it really comes down to it. Like, even though the offense didn't have the explosive day that they had versus the Bucs, the defense stepped up and did their part. As, you know, as dysfunctional as it was, they still stepped up and held their end of the bargain. So if you're able to do that, because I know a lot of Cowboys fans were saying this, just meet us halfway in this Dan Quinn defense. And honestly, if
100%. Yes.
Yeah. And so if this defense just holds team to 20 points, I feel like we're going to landslide a lot of these teams. So I feel like even though as bad as yesterday was offensively, besides the first quarter, I feel like we can score at any time if need be. So I felt like if Kellen Moore really needed to give the reins back to Dak Prescott and say, all right, air it out, do what you got to do to get the job done, he can do so. But I think he wanted to show more balance. And now teams around the league have to really sit back and watch this Cowboys offense and say, how do I game plan this? Like, if you're Philly, like, how do I game plan for this Cowboys defense or offense? Because I don't know what I'm going to get that can give us either or. And so that's the fun part about this offense with the weaponry, being healthy for the most part, knock on wood. I think this offense will be top 3 in the NFL, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Under Kellen Moore.
And I'm just stuck on the offense too much, but the defense, man, shout out to Micah Parsons, dude.
Right.
Shout out to Micah Parsons. I mean, Dan Quinn said it today, the belief that he has in Micah Parsons to go out there and transition from a linebacker to a defensive end.
Right.
Working with DeMarcus Ware on Hard Knocks, that wasn't for show. He used some of that technique. And you talk about Emlyn Smith and Leighton Vander Esch stepping up, right? If I was them, I would have been embarrassed only being held to 16 or less snaps against Super Bowl champions Tampa Bay in Week 1, right? I'd be embarrassed. I think they were, and they proved that, and they balled yesterday. And the curse, KZ, Trayvon Diggs. I mean, this defense just from last year, dude, it's a whole different defense. I love the mentality, the mindset. And I don't even know how Chris Richard developed that mindset, that weak mindset, because he learned under Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's coming in here. He's putting dogs in the field, and dogs that want to be dogs, man. You know what I'm saying? Not no puppy trying to bark real loud like Jordan Lewis.
Right. Yeah, but I'll say this, and I think the thing that you're seeing with this Dallas Cowboys defense is it started in the offseason, right? There has been competition for the most part at a lot of these positions. And so you're seeing this kind of next man up mentality because the opportunity was presenting itself way going back into camp. And so that's why you're seeing some of these younger players like Osa getting his opportunity. He's stepping up big. You're seeing, Trayvon Diggs starting to emerge that next level. I mean, we are at the point as Cowboys fans, we are sitting back saying, who should we play at safety, right? We have a safety competition right now at this point where should it be Jaron Kearse? What happens when Donovan Wilson comes back? Malik Hooker, he had made some plays. DeMonte Casey, like this is foreign territory for a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans. And I feel like that's hats off to Dan Quinn and the new culture that he's created because we didn't have that last year. So, you mentioned Micah Parsons, man. When I spoke about Micah Parsons at the draft, he's exactly what I spoke about. Just a utility knife. Like he can just do anything that you can ask him to do on the defensive line, or his linebacker position, the pass rush. And the way that he was actually attacking Justin Herbert yesterday, it was like, I said this on Twitter, but it's like what we've been kind of asking for 90. Like that's the type of pressure you pay that type of money for in DeMarcus Lawrence, but you got that from Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons is just a pure energy, a pure athlete, and a natural football player. But you can put him at so many positions defensively, he can really take advantage. It's going to be really interesting to see how does Dan Quinn utilize him. So let me ask you this. You saw what you saw yesterday. Are you pro of leaving Micah Parsons the defensive end position? or do you want to see him translate back to the run or the linebacker position?
I want them to continue when people get healthy. I want them to continue what they've been doing. He's been lining up on the defensive line, and he's been playing linebacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep that the same, because that keeps the offensive line on their toes. That keeps that offense on their toes, because you don't know if he's going to come or not.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does come, you know you have to double team him. That's
right.
on tape. You have to double team Micah Parsons. So what does that free up? That frees up Tank. That frees up Randy Gregory. That frees up Osa Digizua, Neville Gallimore when he comes back. This is a great problem to have. I don't want him at one position because he's more versatile than that, and he's a playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to keep doing what they're doing when people get healthy, and that's linebacker and D-line. Less coverage, though. Less coverage.
Less coverage. But I kind of like Micah from what I saw in coverage versus the Bucs. I mean, he's going to have to get those reps so he can get accustomed to the game speed. And that was my thing, because I said I like the pressure that Micah was getting from the defensive line. But I personally would like him at the linebacker position because I feel like he can do a little bit more. And especially once you get, DeMarcus Lawrence back, you're going to get Randy Gregory back this week. I mean, we're supposed to be getting Neville Gallimore back as well. And so my idea and my mentality, what I'm thinking, y'all, I think the 3-4 makes sense of what we currently have in-house. Like the 3-4 doesn't fit DeMarcus Lawrence, but while he's out, if you're able to have, let's say, Watkins or Urban, whoever you want to put over there, then you could probably use Gallimore or even Bohanna, and then you can have Golston or also Osa Digizua play on the outside as well as your front three, and then you have Micah Parsons hauling out the edge, Jalen Smith, LVE, and Keanu O'Neal. I kind of like that personnel with what we currently have in-house. Now, DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't fit that, but while he's out, let's experiment a little bit. But I just like Micah Parsons in the movement. I didn't like him just being on one side, being a pass rusher. And I think what really alerted me is when I was looking out on the field, and he wasn't out on the field at all, because there were some packages that the Chargers were doing where Dan Quinn clearly just took him off the field. And I'm like, no. Micah Parsons doesn't leave the field at all. So whether he's going to be a linebacker or defensive end, we need him out there a lot more reps. And I think there was kind of something that went on. They said he was frustrated about, being pulled out, but rightfully so. Micah Parsons needs to be on the field as much as possible. But man, tremendous effort yesterday for the kid, man, in the second game.
Yeah, no, you're right. He needs to learn coverages, right? But when I say less coverages, it doesn't mean he needs to be covering every play.
Right, right.
Blitz and get on the line. Give him a type. Don't give him Gronk, or don't give him, Travis Kelce when we play the Chiefs. Give him a peon tight end or something. That way he can build the confidence,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Florida Cowboys says we need to stop trying to make guys play multiple positions. Can he master one position at first? Yeah, but I think that the biggest thing with Parsons was his versatility coming to the draft. And so while we're kind of going through the situation with these injuries and COVID and all sorts of things going on, like we have to have a situation where we can kind of plug in players in a different role and still get that impact. I feel like yesterday we were able to do that. And hats off to Dan Quinn for being able to even look at that and recognize, okay, we're going to move Micah Parsons defensive end, because honestly, y'all, Jason Garrett era, that's not happening. So it's like, I like that Dan Quinn had the trust and belief in Micah Parsons to actually make the adjustment and make things happen. So right now, I would like to see his versatility, because I think when it comes to Micah Parsons, nobody really knows. I think the staff doesn't know. Dan Quinn doesn't know. Micah Parsons doesn't know what is going to be his future moving forward. They're probably just trying out little things here and there. It's going to be a middle linebacker, weak side, wherever. And so he's starting to advance his skill set by getting these different looks, which I definitely like, because he's going to grow in this defense tremendously.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Honestly, Dom, I think that putting Micah back at linebacker is negligence. So explain that a little bit more, Dom, because here's the thing. You're going to have to. You're going to have to move him back to linebacker, because once DeMarcus Lawrence comes, he's not going to stay a defensive end. Will we all agree on that? Right, yeah. So I agree. So it's like, all right, so it depends on how long DeMarcus Lawrence is out, how many reps is he going to get? Now, also you got to think about, we do have Anai, who we saw, Randy Gregory's coming back, Basham got reps, even Kamara got reps, Chauncey Golston should be back into the thick of things as well. So I feel like we have enough of those edge rushers. I just think that you can move Micah Parsons back to linebacker, but still having him coming off the edge in different ways. Like you mentioned, different blitz schemes, different blitz packages as well. But he doesn't have to be a defensive end to get pressure. He can still do it in other ways. So, yes, I agree with that. So another thing I want to take away, man, one of my biggest frustrations, I know you had a few, which we'll talk about, special teams, man. So special teams for the second week in a row has been horrible. And then I watched Fossil's interview a second ago, and y'all, he blamed us for being aggressive with the punt block. He says the Cowboys fans, they want something more exciting. They want me to be aggressive, so I give them what they want. Mike, what the hell does that mean?
You know, I thought Bones Fossil, because we were 32nd in special teams before Bones Fossil got to the Cowboys, right? There was a reason why we had to shake that up. But if you bring Bones Fossil in here, it's almost like selling a vehicle on consignment, right? You just use that dealership to sell your vehicle, you get the cash, and you run. Bones Fossil, it was only supposed to be here for a year. Reestablish some things, get some right key pieces in here. He's gone. Bring somebody else better in here. His welcome is overdue in Dallas. But I think it was supposed to be a one-year thing. The guy don't have a playbook. He does everything on the fly. The roughing the kicker thing, that's the Charger players holding and running them in. I think it was an accident play, in my opinion. I don't think he intentionally meant to go run into that punter, but I just don't like it. And I'm always on edge on fourth down. Are we going to punt it, or are we going to do something stupid? It's 4th and 7. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because we got Bone Fossil. And I liked it for the first year, but I'm not digging it the second year.
Yeah, and another thing that Fossil said to his interview, because they were drilling him heavy in his interview, and he says that when he makes a decision, it doesn't go through anybody. So he wanted to be aggressive, because he's talking about the Steelers. I think they got a punt block in their game last week that changed the course of the game. So he wanted to be aggressive, and he made that decision, and he sent them out there to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in that type of situation, you have to be just fully stay off the kicker, prepare for return to help CeeDee Lamb get as much yardage as he can, to shift the field possession. So it's like, I don't know, y'all. I'm personally not a fan of what I've been hearing from Fossil. There's been too many situations that special teams has been very costly. And we'll talk about, the end of the game clock management or what say. But he said that they were planning, before we did the CeeDee Lamb end of half play that almost scored with Ezekiel Elliott, they were really aiming to kick a 69-yard field goal. Like, that was their original intent. And they asked him why was that the thought process, and he mentioned about the wind and everything going on. They're like, well, Greg was missing from 54. Why would you have the confidence from 69? He's like, oh, well, a pre-game kick is no representation of what's going to happen in-game. Like, a 69-yard field goal? Like, what is going on? So I feel like being way too aggressive, even going back to the Bucs game of not kicking the kickoffs out the end zone, those things are starting to cost us, man. So I really hope that Mike McCarthy puts the reins on Bones moving forward, man. So, because special teams, man, I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah, man. There's so many. And Mike McCarthy, I don't think – he talks about that Super Bowl a lot. That was 10 years ago.
Right.
I could talk about my brand new car I bought 11 years ago.
Right.
It has no value at the end of the day, right?
Right.
That Super Bowl that he had, it holds value to him, but it don't hold value to us.
Right.
Right. And he's really not an asset to this football team. I really don't think he is. We watch it on Hard Knocks. He can't light a fire under anybody. Dak Prescott, he don't light a fire under Dak Prescott. They just have communication because that's his head coach and that's his quarterback, right? So there's not. This team needs like a Lincoln Riley, if I'm being honest with you. So young, full, maybe Kellen Moore. Hell, maybe he could be the head coach in terms of.
Well, so let's pause there. So you say someone needs someone young, full of energy, like a Kellen Moore, but you're out on Kellen Moore, right?
I was bringing an example here.
Okay,
I said, maybe Kellen Moore brings something to this. We need some type of energy. I feel like Dak responds better to Kellen Moore than he does Mike McCarthy. Bro, maybe he knows him longer. I don't know.
Right. So,
you watch body language. When you've been in corrections, body language is the big key.
Right.
Right. And so you watch body language, Hard Knock on the sidelines when you go to games and they're walking in the stadiums. Body language tells it all, right? Mm-hmm. But Mike McCarthy, he's not an asset. Bones Fossil, long overdue. But they got to balance this stuff out and get some things together. They really do. We're in a weak division. That's a big benefit, but we got to go out there and win games and put points on the board. Can't depend on break the leg.
So if it's up to you, you're moving on from Mike McCarthy?
Oh, I've been done with Mike McCarthy since last year, 100%.
Okay. Because
he's not a benefit to this team by any means.
I was with you earlier on. I was probably one of their front runners in the Mike McCarthy thing. But now seeing how things kind of unfold, I've kind of given Mike McCarthy a much longer lead. And I'll say this. Last year, of course, the COVID season, Mike Nolan, we kind of know what happened last year. But even in that situation, he was still able to win football games. And I felt like this team really rallies around Mike McCarthy. I mean, he might not be the fire and brimstone coach that a lot of fans might want, but I feel like he is an asset. Now, the thing that I like most about Mike McCarthy is Mike Nolan, we knew he was trouble last year. He addressed it, right? When you had Everson Griffin last year and Don Terry Poe and Daryl Worley, they were kind of causing issues. He addressed it. So at least Mike McCarthy is able to recognize the mistakes and he addresses it quickly. I feel like if there is a situation where special teams are starting to be costly, he'll address Fossil. And so I trust Mike McCarthy. Now, it really comes down to not me and the fans, right? It's up top. And we all know that Kellen Moore is a Jerry and Stephen Jones guy. And so if they're going to look to kind of mold Kellen into being that next head coach, how long is that leash for Mike McCarthy? But I feel like with what we currently have intact and his number 4 is currently standing up, we should be in the thick of things, which is going to buy Mike McCarthy a lot more time here in Dallas than a lot of people expect.
I honestly don't know if I agree with that. I honestly don't, because we went from a coach that had no head coaching experience for damn near a decade, Jason Garrett. Mm-hmm. And Garrett, he built the offensive line. He built a running game, something Cowboys haven't had in a long time, right? Mm-hmm. But he did away. He ignored the defense for many years, right? 07 was probably the best defense we've had in a long time, mm-hmm. right? And then Mike McCarthy comes in here, and like you said, he addressed a lot of needs. I like the turnover on defense. I like I like bringing in Dan Quinn, right? But Mike McCarthy. He's probably a 2-year guy, and then you got to go get somebody in here that's going to go win it. Almost like the Broncos. Yeah, they went out and got Peyton Manning, but it's almost like the Broncos did. They kicked that coach out, brought in Kubiak, won the Super Bowl.
So do you think how bad would it have to get for Mike McCarthy to be gone? So if we make the playoffs, we win a playoff game, and we lose in divisionals, you think that's going to be warranted for Mike McCarthy firing? Because we know Jerry's not going to do that.
No, if he gets in the playoffs, and it's wild card and we don't make the division round or we lose in the divisional round or something, you keep doing that, it's not gonna. But the bar set high, dude. Jerry Jones don't go to press conferences and start a training camp and cry about how bad he wants the Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy's feet is under that fire, dude. He's been doing that for decades with Jason Garrett. So why does Jason Garrett deserve a 10-year leash, but Mike McCarthy doesn't? Because it's favoritism.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones himself, he's been writing a check to the Garretts for 30 years. It was just a family circle.
Right. And so I feel like that's the one thing that's going to keep Mike McCarthy out, is that he's not a part of the Joneses. And if the pressure really comes down to make a decision between Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy, then Kellen Moore might be in the play with that. But I feel like things would actually have to get bad in order for the Joneses to be able to move on from Mike McCarthy. I feel like if we go to the playoffs, we win one game or so, they're going to keep him in-house. And I feel like this team rallies around Mike McCarthy. Now, you mentioned something earlier. It comes down to the conversation between Dak and Kellen Moore. Like, what does Dak really want? What does Dak, because Kellen Moore is Dak's guy, so if with Tony Romo's correct and there's starting to be offers for Kellen Moore and Dak might say, I want to keep my guy, then maybe that's going to force the Joneses to make a decision. But as of right now, I feel like Mike McCarthy is more than capable to get this team ultimately to where we need to be. He just needs to talk to his special teams coach, man, and get him a line. Because wherever Fossil's doing, it ain't happening, man. So let's hop in the chat, see what's going on. Let's see here. Dallas will always be a mid-level team until they prove me wrong. Cowboys games equal entertainment. Okay. All right, but were you entertained? Cowboys, yeah. Cowboys, baby. What's up, my guy Joe Rod in the building? I think they've already set themselves up to accept Kellen Moore will be gone soon. Mike McCarthy brought in McAdoo to be the sliding OC in 2022. Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to have a conversation this all season because you're going to hear Kellen Moore's name buzzing a lot more than even we heard last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jerry handles that. Let's see here. I feel like we missed the playoffs this year, and next year Mike McCarthy's gone. Yeah, if we have if we miss the playoffs this year and turn around and miss next year, yeah, he's absolutely gone, man. But I feel like right now he should be safe, man. And I feel like this team rallies around Mike McCarthy a lot more than what people let on. I want to go over to the defensive side of the ball, man, because you mentioned how bad the defense was and what we gave up, and the penalties is kind of what saved the Chargers. What do you think is going to happen with this Anthony Brown situation in our secondary? Because I feel like right now he's the target spot where a lot of people are going to go at him, and how long will he last remains to be unseen. I know Dan Quinn spoke highly about him, but I said that yesterday's game kind of bought him 4 to 5 more weeks, even when Boss Man returns. So what's your thoughts on this cornerback position?
Cowboys are going to give, Cowboys going to take, right? I stated that earlier.
Right.
And they gave us Trayvon Diggs, and they gave us Anthony Brown, right? The good, the bad, the ugly.
Right.
And Anthony Brown, he's not even bad. He's just ugly. Mm-hmm. And the effort out there, I mean, it's there, right? It's there. Mm-hmm. But it's the talent's not. You know, like you can put everything you have into a test, but if you didn't study, you're going to flunk. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like he's putting it all out on the field, but it don't look like he's studying. It really don't. I don't know how you could study your wide receiver that you're supposed to be on, because Trayvon Diggs, he's floating around out there. He's following the number one guy. So your job is to focus on the number 2 or number 3 guy. Watch tape on that and learn from that. I don't think he's watching tape, dude. If he is, he might be trying to eat that chip that's on his shoulder, because I just don't see it. It's bad play, dude. It's horrible play out there.
Yeah, I don't want to say he doesn't watch film, he doesn't study. I believe it's actually the opposite. I feel like he does study and watches film, but I feel like just in the matchups that he's getting, he's just limited. Like, he did have, Antonio Brown, which is still today one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. So I feel like it was just bad matchups that he can't keep up with it. But you think about it, okay, we bring in Nashawn Wright, all right, or even Kelvin Joseph. Do we think that Kelvin Joseph is going to be ready, next week versus, who do he play? Is it the Panthers after the Philly? I think it's Panthers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just don't think, y'all, that Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn are going to fully all right, Kelvin Joseph, you're back. Anthony Brown is out. Bossman is in. I feel like it's going to be more of a slow play until we really see Kelvin Joseph start to emerge, because there's politics in Dallas. I mean, look what's happening to Maurice Kennedy. Like, he's not even, out there as much, and he had one of the great camps and great preseason as well. And so that's my one concern, is I just don't see it changing or addressing anytime soon. It's going to have to get bad in order for Nashawn Wright or Kelvin Joseph to take over Anthony Brown's spot, y'all, to be honest.
Yeah. And I said on the Frisco report that I want Maurice Kennedy out there. Yeah, he's a slot guy, but hell, try him on the outside. It's going to be better than what you're going to get from Anthony Brown.
Right.
Because, I mean, Maurice Kennedy, people forget, he's a Baltimore Raven.
Right.
For the first part of it, they have a great program over there. They have dogs on defense. Right. He got that dog mentality. We need to have Maurice Kennedy on the field. I promise you'll get more takeaways.
Right. Yeah, and that's the frustrating part about watching this team, is so why isn't Maurice Kennedy really out there on the field? Because I felt like it changes the whole sentiment when you think about things. Because if you think about this, bro, who was really rewarded from having a great camp? Nobody. Nobody. So but that's the thing that a lot of Cowboys fans don't understand. There's politics that goes into. So as much as we might be sitting here, Kelvin Joseph, Nashawn Wright, if they don't fit the politics in-house, they might not get that opportunity, man. But I feel like that second corner is definitely going to be a need that we need to address, because even though Philly was kind of limited, offensively yesterday, they do have explosive wide receivers just as well, with Rager and also Devontae Smith. So, Diggs can only cover one guy. So Anthony Brown really needs to step up. And where I was frustrated yesterday when it comes to Anthony Brown, but also Dan Quinn, right? You had Mike Williams, the big physical wide receiver. In all draft, we heard about we wanted corners with size and corners with length. So why wouldn't you try to maybe put Nahshon Wright out there for that particular matchup? But, you saw on the touchdown was given up, Anthony Brown has clearly missed that tackle. Like, it's poor tackling.
It's a mismatch.
It's a mismatch. And so why wouldn't you want to limit that mismatch? But, we got to trust Dan Quinn and actually let him cook, man, and see what he's going to bring. But, we'll see. Next thing, I want to go back over to the offensive side of the ball, because I know it's a particular player that you have been frustrated with, but he actually played well, and that's Terrence Steele. So give me your thoughts on Terrence Steele, on how he played yesterday.
Yeah, the nickname is Doo-Doo Pants Steele. That's the nickname. And there was a report, I can't remember who tweeted out, but it was a real source. He had bubble guts, and he number two'd on himself out in the field, and so that's why I've called him Doo-Doo Pants Steele. But from now on, I took off the do, so he's Doo Pants Steele, right? Okay. And because he played great, dude. He held his own. But again, it's just 1 week. It's just 1 week. He plays next week. I'll call him by his God-given name, Terrence Steele.
Okay.
It's just 1 week. He had a horrible preseason. I think I can't remember who it was. Someone on the Cowboys TV was like, these left or right tackles haven't played much. What were y'all at last year? They were the starters, Brendan Knight and Terrence Steele, right?
Right.
Like, what are you saying? He looked awful in the preseason, so I really didn't have a lot of hope. I thought Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin and Zeke are going to be heavy on that right side, and they did great blocking, right? But Zach Martin said it yesterday that when he went to go over there and help during those play calls, he didn't need help, and that's just great, right? You want to see development, and on the first report I talked about Jeremy Parnell, and I wanted Terrence Steele to be that Jeremy Parnell. Come in here, dominate, go get your paper on another team, because La'el Cohen's going to be here for a while. Maybe not. Maybe they cut him and keep Terrence Steele, right? Yeah. But I want a Jeremy Parnell type of player up that right side, and for 1 week, Terrence Steele was that Jeremy Parnell for us.
Yeah, and I have to say hats off to Terrence Steele, because my concern, like you said, bro, even in preseason, in camp, he didn't have the best camp. And what also kind of concerned me is that the Cowboys, it sounds like from what we heard from last week, is that Ty Nsekhe was going to be the starting right tackle until the issue that happened with him. And I think that he's okay now moving forward. But it sounds like they were looking to move forward with Ty Nsekhe at right tackle. And so Terrence was actually the second option. But I will say this, that Kellen Moore, once again, and Mike McCarthy in this offense, they schemed perfectly around it, and specifically for Joey Bosa. They ran at him. They did a lot of chipping with the tight ends. They were double teaming with Zach Martin. They were running offside. So they kept him thinking and guessing where he couldn't just peel back his ears and be a pass rusher, which it really helped Terrence Steele a lot. And also, I've been saying this, when you establish the run game, it opens up so much for your offensive line because it helps them get into a rhythm, right? Because even though, Tyler Biadasz struggled in Thursday's game versus the Bucs, he played a lot better yesterday, and also Connor Williams, because when you're playing that run style of offense, your offensive line, they get into a rhythm, and I felt like that was able to help out Terrence Steele, but also Tyler Biadasz, but also you mentioned, man, having Zach Martin in between the two, it's a game changer, man. So I like what I've seen from the offensive line. Got to maintain, got to keep them healthy. My guy Matt O has been breaking down this La'el Collins suspension situation. I still don't understand it. I don't get it. I doubt that La'el is going to get the appeal and be back anytime sooner. So it sounds like for the next 4 games, Terrence Steele is going to be that guy. But after what we saw yesterday, granted, like you said, only 1 game, it gives Cowboys fans kind of a piece over ourselves, because we thought he was going to get wrecked yesterday. And it wasn't really until like 3 hours before game time yesterday I said, you know what? I think Terrence is going to be okay. I think Terrence is going to be okay, but he was keeping me up at night, man, worrying about the situation, especially with Dak Prescott back there. But once I saw, I'm like, all right, they have to be able to game plan around this. And we do have Zach Martin out there. Things should be a lot better. So hats off to Terrence Steele and the way that he performed yesterday. And before I let you go, hot topic button, right? The run game. We saw Tony Pollard. We saw Ezekiel Elliott. So a lot of people on Twitter, because we can't have 2 nice things. We can only have 1 nice thing, right? A lot of people think it has to be Tony Pollard or Zeke. But what's your thoughts, man, on how this relationship with Zeke and Pollard is going to be moving forward in this Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy era?
You know, I said this like maybe a couple of weeks ago. Zeke's grown up, dude, and he's becoming a veteran. I mean, you've seen him on Hard Knocks teaching Hardy, right? Him and TP, I don't think there will be any beef between the two. Tony Pollard said it's nothing like that. You got to go with the hot hand, and Zeke and Tony Pollard was the hot hand, right? And I think when you are running back and you know the life expected, and Zeke's getting paid, so Zeke could be on the bench and make massive amounts of money, right?
Right.
But he's also a competitor, and so is Tony Pollard. But you got to know what you have in Tony Pollard. As fans, we've been screaming for Tony Pollard forever, you know, and so it's good to see that they're getting in 2 weeks of football, they're getting them both on the field at the same time. Zeke ran a fullback play a couple of weeks ago. Tony Pollard's hitting the outside like a damn maniac, which is great, right? But I think the relationship is just fantastic. I mean, Zeke, he's matured. He's grown up. But 3 years ago, Zeke, maybe not. I don't think Tony Pollard would even sniff the field.
Right.
But Zeke, he's grown up, and I absolutely love it. I do.
Yeah, I like the thunder and lightning aspect with these two running backs, and I say, a lot of people think that you got to have one bell cow, but think about it. You look across the NFL, what they have in the Browns, like there's a lot of duos when it comes to the running back position. Because also, y'all, we got 17 games right now, and Mike McCarthy mentioned that you can't run Zeke into the ground now. I would rather Zeke be fresh and rested in December and going into January versus him running into the ground right now. So if you have Tony Pollard out there, it helps take some of that duty off of Ezekiel Elliott. So I'm excited, but like you said earlier, bro, we've seen flashes of it before, right? But will they be able to maintain it? But I think that they are, because even this offseason, you heard a lot of conversations about getting Tony Pollard involved. And we call him on this channel Weapon X. Utilize him, because I said this in a video a few months ago. Tony Pollard is the Tyreek Hill of this offense. Like, you just got to get him the ball and get him out in space and let him create. And we saw that yesterday. So it's going to be interesting to see how Kellen Moore utilizes him, but also Ezekiel Elliott moving forward. So I'm not as down as you are, bro, about yesterday's game. I love what I saw yesterday for the most part. Now, besides this one little thing, the final few seconds of the game, right? And so I know that Mike McCarthy had mentioned that there was something going on with the clock and the clock malfunction. And then they had the cameraman that was in front of the clock, so Kellen Moore couldn't see. And I'm not sure how much I'm buying into that, but these are the little things that when people like yourself are like questioning Mike McCarthy, you have to take into consideration, because we saw this last year, right? So what was your thoughts on the clock management, the last possession of the game?
I before the whole clock stuff come, I was wondering what the hell we were doing. We had one timeout.
Right.
I can't remember who it was. They didn't run out of bounds, and I was like, you don't want to use that last timeout right there. What the hell are we doing?
Right.
But I was just freaking out, like, and then you see Greg the leg warming up, and you're like, "Fuck, can he even make that?"
Right.
And there's just a lot of emotions going on. But if they don't turn it into the league, it's BS.
Right.
Scoreboards and clock and game, that stuff don't get turned off. If it does, referee timeout. They figure out what the hell is going on.
That's what I was saying, because if I'm thinking from a coach's perspective, and it's that situation in the game, and the clocks are off in the stadium, you can't see anything, you should be going ballistic on the sideline, running down the field, getting the referee's attention. But it was like, we were just sitting there waiting. If you watch my video I dropped, I'm just like, what is going on? And what I really felt is they thought that the Chargers were going to call a timeout. So they were kind of like, are you guys going to call a timeout? Are we going to call a timeout? Like, what's going on, right? And I feel like they're kind of playing this game of chicken to ultimately hold on. Let me dude here quick.
You need some moderators, Jake Tuck.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get some moderators, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta get some moderators in the group, man, to hold me down when these weirdos come in. God dang, hold on. Oh man. Where do these weirdos come from, bro? Like,
It's YouTube, man. It's YouTube. There's 7 billion people on this earth.
YouTube's, man. Like, oh, good ball. I need to add some moderators, man. Yeah,
can you put them in timeout, or can a moderator just put somebody in timeout?
Yeah. I don't have no moderators, man. I do everything behind the scenes, man. But since we're growing, man, gotta get these mods out, man. But yeah, man. But like I said, I think that was the case. They were kind of playing, chicken when it comes to who's going to call the timeout. And I felt like the time lapse, and they were thinking about it. But to go into that situation is like, all right, we're in field goal range with a 57-yard field goal, and be like, I'm cool with that. I'm not, man. I'm not. Now, damn it, Greg the Leg, he came through, but that's not the situation that you want to be in, because we were almost going to get a first down where we could have forced them to kind of burn their timeouts, but got closer. But like I said, it all worked out in Cowboys' favor, man, and luckily we got that win. So it's Victory Monday, Cowboys Nation. I know everyone's feeling great. It is what it is. We got that Bolt Gang or Get Banged or whatever their slogan was. We got them up out of there. But Monday night is when the fun starts, man. So before I'm not going to dive in too heavily, but let me get your thoughts on next Monday night's game versus that team. I forgot the name.
That team. We have 3 other teams in this division, and I could tolerate a Giant fan. I can tolerate a football team fan. Mm-hmm. But an Eagle fan, dude, I cannot stand. I hate everything there is about PA, right? Mike McCarthy came out of PA. Y'all know my stance on him already.
Michael Parsons, though.
Hey, there's good things, right?
Right.
There's 7 billion people on this planet. Not all of them are bad, but Philadelphia Eagles fans are the worst, dude. They're scum of the other. They're stale gum on a subway rail, dude. That's all they are, dude. They're garbage. But we got to go out there, dude. We got to go prove it, right? If Cowboys go in there, and one of my bold predictions pinned to my Twitter feed is Cowboys go 6-0 in the division. And I truly believe we can go 6-0 in this division. Okay. I really do. They got to go in there, AT&T Stadium, home opener, go take care of business, man. Right. That Charlie F around having teams play close, high school Harry over there. We got – those guys got to go because they're still here, Mike McCarthy. I don't care what you say on Hard Knocks, dude. They're still here. Go put the pedal to the metal, Kellen Moore, and don't let up. Yeah. I don't care how tired your defense can get, dude. Go out there and just the defense force 3 and out. It's easy for them, right?
Right.
I just wanted to smack these guys in the mouth so damn hard, like their mama feels it, dude.
We all do, man. We all do. And
I hate the Philadelphia Eagles, dude. I do.
It's going to be an electric game, y'all. Like, even though I went to Tampa, I feel like Monday night versus the Eagles, it's going to be another kind of playoff-like atmosphere. I know so many Cowboys fans are going to be there. You're going to have Jimmy Johnson and Drew Pearson and Cliff Harris getting the rings, and maybe, fingers crossed, Ring of Honor for Jimmy. I don't know, like surprises. But you're going to have that. You're going to have Dak Prescott's first game back at AT&T Stadium. Like, it's going to be fired up. Now, here's the reason why I've been kind of chilling on this. Like, I'm not getting too fired up yet. Is because with these situations that have been arriving within our camp, I don't know who's going to be out there. So I'm going to kind of wait, maybe to get like to Thursday or Friday. But once we do that, man, I'm really going to turn up. So if you're going to that game, definitely holler at me. I'm going to be out there. We got the event on Saturday night, the Jalen Smith event. We also got the Hard Hitters Group event. So we're going to be out and about, man. We got the tailgate on Thursday or on Monday. We got, football games on Sunday. A lot going on that weekend. So definitely hit me up if you're in Dallas. But I cannot wait for that game versus the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I'm with you, bro. I hope we come in, we strike them up, blow them out, put 40 burgers. Now's the time to really emerge and put 40 up on the Eagles and get them up out of there, man. But it's going to be a fun game, man. But my guy, Mike, man, I appreciate you for stopping by, man. So like I said, huge fan of your work. For the people seeing you once again for the first time, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, and real quick, another reason why I hate the Eagle fans, 2016, an Eagle fan was on the turf at AT&T Stadium and literally spit on the star. His nasty spit was on the star, right? So when one Eagle fan does that, they all do that. And last time I checked, that Eagle fans like young girls and cupcakes, so I don't tolerate an Eagle fan.
Right.
Right? So, no, Cowboys, _Cowboys Corner right here. or on Twitter, Cowboys Corner, right here on YouTube. Jay Tuck, keep killing the game, dude. Appreciate you having me on. You should have 10,000 plus subscribers, dude. You're just killing the game.
Listen to the man.
There's
Get the 10,000.
There's not a lot of YouTubers that can go on a podcast and sit for 4 hours and just talk ball. I called you Judge Tuck the other day just because you were just sitting and listening. It was pretty funny just being a viewer, right?
Yeah, man.
But if you come in, your opinions, it's hot, it's on fire, it's accurate, it's on point.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate what you do for YouTube and Dallas Cowboy community. There's some fake ones out there, but I can promise you guys, Jay Tuck's the real deal.
I appreciate that, man. Like I said, I do it for the culture and the community, man. Like you said, it's like being here stuck in Kansas City. It's really cool that I can just hop on now and talk to as many Cowboys fans as I want about Dallas Cowboys football, man. Because most part, I was like by myself and like just on Twitter. So I really enjoy everyone who watches my channel, everyone who hits me up on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, like all those places. TikTok, shouts out to Cowboys TikTok. I'm trying, y'all, but it just ain't my thing. I'm working on it. But salute to every word, man. Like I said, I appreciate all the support, and I can't wait to, like I said, this weekend, being in Dallas, getting out with you guys. Oh, man. Here they come. Here comes the Eagles fans. My guy, Joe, Philly, the podcast, he's going to be out there too, man. We might, you know what I'm saying? We might have to rough him up out there at the tailgate, man. But salute to my guy, Joe. We're definitely going to be talking.
Give him some laxatives. Let him go shit the whole game.
Some laxatives in their cookies or something, man. But salute to my guy, Joe. We definitely going to talk this week, man. Like I said, I appreciate all the Cowboys fans and your support. Great win yesterday. For those who are seeing me for the first time, Cowboys fans only on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at jtuck151. And also go to cowboysfansonly.com, man. Great win, Cowboys Nation. Oh. And salute to all of the Cowboys fans who were out there in LA yesterday. We heard y'all. My salute to my hard hitters group. They were out there repping. I know the One Star family, all those Cowboys groups that are big and major, they were out there repping. And I really heard it when Coop caught his first pass in the first quarter. And I heard Coop. I said, oh man, we are definitely in the building. And absolutely on Monday night, we all going to be in the building, man. So we're going to have a fun time, man. So it's your boy, Jay Tuck. I want everybody to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged. Go Cowboys. And don't worry, Philly fans. I got something real special for y'all this week. Can't you wait?